All right, Coach, you've had 48 hours to digest it now. Any new thoughts on the big game last Saturday night?
Not really. Just same thing we said after the game and yesterday. You know, it was a great game. Two teams played really, really well. Very competitive. Guys getting hurt left and right, coming out, going in. I thought the two teams, you know, just really fought really hard, and it's almost like you wish there wasn't a loser because both teams, you know, both kids played so hard. And I thought it said a lot about the game and about our fans. You know, that everybody's still in their seats after the loss. And we came jogging off as bad as we felt, and our fans were giving us a standing ovation even though we lost. That was pretty special and something we'll always remember. And so we appreciate the fans for that, as well as the electric atmosphere the entire night.
A lot of controversial refereeing decisions became talking points after the game. Any new thoughts looking back on those?
No, same thing. You know, we've moved on. We moved on from it. You know, we blew a 24-hour horn yesterday to get everybody moving forward, and now we're getting ready for a game this week.
Speaking of penalties, your team has become one of the most disciplined teams in the conference. You had 10 penalties against Arizona State. You've had 13 in the 4 games since. Talk about the progress the team has made in that regard.
Well, I think our guys have done a great job with the 5-yard penalties. You know, the penalties that are you see every game. You know, the defensive offsides, the false starts, illegal formations. That's where we've done a good job. And we were on our way to close to a perfect game. You know, and really the 3 flags are personal foul flags. You know, that obviously we don't want. But the line of scrimmage has been really, really clean, and we're just proud of our players because that's been an emphasis since the day we got here. Something that, you know, we've struggled with early on last season and then have done a much better job with.
As this defense gets better too, are we seeing the emergence of a star in Nikel Roby, who had a fantastic moment on Saturday night?
Yeah, I think we are. You know, he's got a hard job. He plays every snap. We match him up on our best guy 2 weeks in a row now. And really, you know, since that switch of matching him up, he's really taken that as a challenge. And so, you know, we matched him up on 81 this week, and then we matched him up on Floyd the week before. So, and he's really come up big for us.
One of the shames of not having that kick at the end of regulation was not seeing Andre Haidari out there, who just looked like at halftime of the Notre Dame game, you know, he might be done for a while, and then comes out, kicks a 50-yarder for you going into half. And just talk about the gutty performance you get from a position that's not usually known for toughness.
Yeah, he's very tough. He's been tough in our drills during the offseason. He's been tough in every competitive thing that we do. He loves tackling. He tries to fight the other guys on every kickoff. We're trying to get him out of there. But that is who he is, and it says a lot about him. And he's a true freshman. You know, how many true freshmen are making 50-yard kicks in the Coliseum, you know, trying to knock off the longest winning streak in the country. So it's pretty neat that he's here for a long time.
Some prominent NFL people talked after that game about how Matt Barkley's performance moved him potentially, if he decides to leave, into the top 10 of the draft. Besides the stats, what are you seeing from Matt that you're so proud of his performances lately?
Decision making. You know, he gets us out of trouble a lot. You know, you can't. I don't care how well you're playing up front. You know, if you play 8 games and you've only given up 4 sacks, you know, the quarterback's doing a great job, and he's doing a great job of getting rid of the ball. He's doing a great job of making people miss when he needs to, and I'm just really proud of him. You know, he's on a great run here, and it's unfortunate these 2 games in Stanford have ended the way they have, because really you can look at it and say Matt Barkley did everything to win both those games. You know, he didn't go out on defense and let him go down and score. Otherwise, we're sitting here saying, you know, he what a big story he is, you know, finishing off another, you know, beating Andrew 2 years in a row.
Only 2 full practices this week. How does that change your preparation for Colorado?
Well, it's obviously just a little bit shorter, and so we're still going to find ways to get our time in, and you know, just make sure that our guys are really prepared for a very difficult adversity type game. Obviously, we've come off 2 very emotional games, going to a team that record-wise is not as good as the teams that we're playing in weather on a Friday night. So a bunch of stuff going into that. We gotta have great focus this week.
Yeah, you're also coming off 2 physical games. Are you more worried about this team physically or emotionally going into Friday night?
Emotionally, you know, just making sure that we're up for the game and that we're playing real well, and we continue to play as a smart football team, which for the most part we have been, as you talked about the penalties, and so we're going to need to do that.
It's going to be a cold game. It's going to be a night game, but also altitude. That is a new challenge, playing a mile high. Do you have any experience in it, and any advice do you tell the guys this week?
Yeah, I mean, we've been up there before, you know, when we were here before, and then at Oakland going to Denver. It's not about any of that. You know, it's football. You know, it's about protecting the football. It's about getting it back on defense. It's about being physical at the line of scrimmage. That'll never change no matter where you go.
Colorado has really struggled this season, last in offense, last in defense in the conference. Are there underlying strengths? What do you see from this Colorado team that does concern you?
Well, I think they're getting healthy. You look at some guys coming back this week, the guys that have been banged up and stuff. So they've been really probably hurt by injuries more than anybody in the country in the run they've had to go to. So I actually think they're getting stronger probably this week as they come into this game. As we all know, SC coming down, always a big game, and ESPN and the Friday night, and they're doing some blackout or something like that. So we better be ready because I promise you they'll be ready.
John Embry's in his first year there, obviously dealing with that transition. When he does put his stamp, his identity on this program, what will it be from what you know about him?
Well, I think it'll be physical. You can see, that's just who he is. He's a get after it type of guy, and he wants his team to be that way. And I know he's trying. And the adversity that he's gone through has just been unbelievable. With you look at the injuries and suspensions, and just trying to field a team out there. And so I think he's done a great job with that. And it's always hard your first year, no matter where you go.
Does it say something about what was the Pac-10 that the newcomers, particularly Utah, who had some great seasons recently, Colorado has a great tradition, that they've come in and started 1-9 in the conference? Did that say something about the strength of the conference and the original members?
Well, I think so. I think that just shows what we've been really talking about for 2 years. This is probably the best the conference has ever been as far as balance. And, we went through the great SC run, where SC was at the top. But, you're looking at what's going on in the conference, and you look at Oregon and Stanford and now Washington and what they're doing in Arizona State. There's a lot of really good teams in the conference and really good quarterbacks.
The last time USC lost in overtime, it was that triple OT game at Cal. They went on to win 34 straight games starting from that moment. You were part of all 34. What was the galvanizing moment for that team, and how can Saturday night be that for this team?
Well, I think there was a lot of similarities in the game and the feeling of the game and the fumble right there, going in at the one. So it is kind of crazy. We're just trying to get to one in a row. We're not worried about 34 right now.
Your son Knox has been in the news this week. What's he going to be for Halloween tonight? You going trick-or-treating?
I'm not going trick-or-treating. I'm sure she'll send me some pictures.
All right. Have fun, Coach. Thanks.
All right. Thank you.